welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Kiera Washington Speaks. And if this is your first time tuning in, just know that you are more than welcome. If you have happened to come across my channel, it's probably because you are interested in things about interviews, how to work in cellular sales, how to land a job in retail sales. So a little bit about my backstory. I have now been in sales officially for about 4.5 years. And so I wanted to come on here really quickly, and I thought about something over the past couple of days. I've been getting a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of feedback from you all, and I thought about something that I thought would be extremely helpful for you. So here we go. We're gonna run them down really quickly, and it's simply why you should ask follow-up questions in your interview. And I'm going to tell you this before I kind of get into those three things, because there are three really main questions I feel are very important. I'm going to say this. The reason why you ask follow-up questions, family, is because number one, it shows, I almost said number two, but number one, it shows that you are very much so interested in the job and the role that you're getting ready to take on. Number two, it shows that you really want to know if this position is going to be a good fix for you. Here's the thing, we can apply for jobs in different careers all the time. Doesn't mean it's gonna be a good fit for us. So number one, this is a question that I have learned from doing multiple mock interviews with mentors, a lot of research, and just understanding how I wanna show up in my next position. Number one question I always ask, and I would suggest that you always ask is this a rehire or new position? Yes, you need to ask this question. Is this job a new role that you have created, or is this a rehire position? The number one reason why I believe that this question is important to ask is because when we talk about rehire positions, we're always talking about somebody coming in and doing a job that's already been done, which means there's going to be certain criteria that's expected, a certain job description that's expected, a certain amount of energy and standard and expectation that's expected in that role, which is fine, right? It's totally fine. There's no issue with that. However, when we are thinking about new positions, there's a lot more room for creativity. There's a lot more room for innovation. And depending on the type of person you are, someone who has created a new position may be a better fit for you. Now, at the end of the day, it's up for you to choose and decide which one is going to be better for you. But I believe that is always a good question to ask. Number two, okay, here we go. The next thing that I always ask in interviews is simply this. Hey, are you able to give me a high-level overview of what the compensation and benefits package looks like at this company, or looks like for this company? Here's the reason why you want to ask about benefits and you want to ask about compensation. Most of us think in an hourly mindset. And the reason why I say this is because me being someone who has a bartending, serving background, I was used to making an hourly wage. Of course, I made tips, and that was awesome and that was great, but I was very much so used to an hourly wage. Even when I went and worked in a call center before I started working in retail sales, I was used to an hourly wage. In order to really capitalize and make as much money as you want to make, especially if you don't have a lot of college education or you don't have a lot of post-grad education, you want to get specific on what the numbers look like. So hey, without taking up 5 minutes, and of course you're not gonna say it like that, but you know, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, are you able to give me a high-level overview of what the compensation package and benefits looks like with said company? Now, this is what they're gonna do. They are going to run down, of course, what your hourly or salary range is gonna be. They are going to run over, of course, and run down what the benefits look like. Here's also another important thing. You want to know if your job offers tuition assistance. You want to know if your job has volunteering available. You want to know how many sick days, maternity leave, emergency time that you actually have when getting ready to work for a said company. It's important. I don't care what people say, but the older we get, the more responsibility we have, we need to ask these questions, okay? And I'm getting ready to wrap it up for y'all because I told myself before I started this video that I was going to keep it short. The third question that I believe is extremely important to ask in an interview as you are following up and they ask you, hey, so-and-so, do you have any follow-up questions or any interview end questions for us? Hey, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, I'm interested to know, what's your company's culture around employees making mistakes or maybe not so much understanding the assignment of the job in the first couple of months? If your employees make mistakes, which we all make mistakes at the job, what does that look like? How does management coach? How does management approach me when it comes to coaching? Here's what's so very important about that. I realize that when it comes to me, I don't like to be micromanaged. I've mentioned this in other videos in the past. I'm not a big micromanager, so I don't like managers micromanaging me, but I'm very appreciative if somebody coaches me telling me, hey, you didn't handle that quite correctly. You didn't do that quite right. You made a mistake on this. And they coach me in a way where, not that they're babying me, but they're telling me, hey, this wasn't done correctly. And going forward, this is how it needs to be done. Here are the steps. Hey, I know we didn't cover this, but look at this and look at that. And then this will kind of show you a little bit more on how this kind of flows. For me personally, and this may not be you, but for me personally, I don't deal well with a manager being overbearing, with the manager being harsh, with the manager talking absolutely crazy to me over a mistake that I made doing a job. I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to say it because it's extremely important and because it's very realistic. In any job that you do, you're going to make mistakes. It's simple. You're going to make mistakes. You are going to mess up. You're going to miscalculate something. You're going to put something in the wrong system. It happens. I've been working in retail sales for 4.5 years, and I have made my very fair share of mistakes. But it is very important to know how you're going to be coached throughout that process. So ask those questions, okay? So let's run it down real quick. We need to ask, is this a rehire or a new position? Very much so important on knowing how you're going to be expected to be in your role. Number 2, you want to know in high level overview of what the job's benefits and compensation is. At the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. We all work to get paid. Number 3, if you are looking especially for longevity in your job, you want to know how your superiors and your supervisors coach. What is their coaching mechanisms? What are their coaching styles? How do they coach peer to peer, manager to manager, peer to manager? It's important because what that does is that lets you know the work culture. Here's another thing that I want to say as an honorable mention. Have you ever been the type of person where you just go on Glassdoor.com or you go on Indeed or you go on these different job websites and you read the reviews of how said companies have treated certain employees? Don't get me wrong, some of the reviews are good, but what do we know about reviews? Most people take time to write reviews when they have had a crappy experience. This is why work culture, job culture is important. And it's important to know those things up front because here's the thing. If they tell you, hey, this is how we deal with this and this is how we deal with that, and it's misleading to you, you know at the end of the day, hey, I asked and this doesn't work for me, so I need to move forward and move on. So at the end of the day, y'all, my hope and my prayers that this video has helped somebody. I still have a couple of things that I need to respond to from you all. As I mentioned, me working as a business account manager is a very, very busy and demanding role. So I haven't put as much time into this channel as I really know I could, but I will continue to get better at that and I will continue to work at that. So you all keep the questions coming, keep the love, support, and comments coming, and I will continue to create more content for you all. If you are, new to this channel, make sure you go ahead and share, like, comment, and subscribe. If you really believe that this content may be helpful for somebody that you know, go ahead and share the video with them, okay? Because we never know who may be educated, motivated, or inspired, okay? I'm your girl, Kiera Washington Speaks, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.